The Manhattan DA's office just fired off a scathing letter to congressional Republicans who are demanding that Alvin Bragg testify over the Trump Stormy Daniels hush money investigation. And in this letter, Bragg's general counsel slams the GOP inquiry, saying it's interfering in their probe and calling that an unlawful incursion into New York's sovereignty. Hello, everyone. This is Outnumbered. I'm Emily Campagno, here with my co-host, Kayleigh McEnany, and also joining us today, host of Fox & Friends Weekend, Rachel Campos-Duffy, host of Mansion Global on Fox Business, Katrina Campins, and former Utah Congressman Jason Chaffetz. But first, let's go to Brian Yennis, who is live here in New York City with the latest. Brian.
Emily, good afternoon. In a new letter this morning from Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg's office, responding to the House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan's request for Bragg to hand over documents and to publicly testify about the possible indictment of former President Trump, Bragg's office called that unconstitutional and inappropriate. The letter went on from Bragg's general counsel to accuse Jordan of playing politics himself. Quote, the letter only came after Donald Trump created a false expectation that he would be arrested the next day, and his lawyers reportedly urged you to intervene. Bragg's office says it's willing to meet with congressional staff to figure out what information, if any, can be provided. Jordan sent new letters demanding documents and congressional testimony from former special prosecutors Mark Pomerantz and Kerry Dunn, who publicly resigned from Bragg's office last year after Bragg refused to move forward with prosecuting Trump over financial crimes. Jordan says the two former prosecutors have information that could prove this is a politically motivated prosecution.
The only thing that changes between then and now is President Trump announces he's running for president, and most importantly, I think, Pomerantz and Dunn, these two individuals who worked as assistants, resign, start pitching a fit, start protesting, write a book, and create this pressure on Alvin Bragg from the left. And suddenly he decides, oh, now I'm going to indict President Trump.
For the second day in a row, the grand jury is not meeting today about the Trump investigation. The earliest they could meet again is on Monday, this amid reports of major dissension in the DA's office over the, quote, weakness of this case. Emily?
Brian, thank you so much for that. All right, bringing this out to the couch now, Kayleigh, so essentially, the House Judiciary Committee is arguing one of prosecutorial abuse, abuse of power, and the prosecutor responds with a jurisdictional.
Yeah, Alvin Bragg, hate to tell you, but your letter's totally off base. Alvin Bragg, he says this, that what Jim Jordan, Comer, and others are doing is an unprecedented inquiry into a pending local prosecution. Hate to tell you, Alvin Bragg, but the liberal New York Times, your buddy there, talked to election law experts, and they said never in history has New York State brought a case about a federal election. So you're the unprecedented one first. And there are at least 7 bases on which, and I'll just briefly tick through a few, that Congress would have jurisdiction to look into this. First, if federal funds were received by Alvin Bragg, he says, oh, well, that's not one basis, and he put a rebuttal. But I didn't see the other 6 bases addressed in his letter. For instance, it's a federal election that you're looking into. Congress has clear jurisdiction there. Federal election campaign laws, which, as you pointed out yesterday, might be attached to the state charge. Congress has an interest in that. This all resulted from the Mueller probe. Congress has an interest in that. Special prosecutors appointed by the executive. 14th Amendment clearly gives Congress power in the event that you violated President Trump's rights. So those are just a few. Off-base Alvin Bragg. But Alvin Bragg, it must feel a little hot in his office because his case is unraveling. First, as we talked about, Costello said, look, you said you didn't waive attorney-client privilege. Here's a letter saying you did. And then just yesterday, we get the 2018 letter of Michael Cohen to the FEC. Last point here, and here's what he said. Neither the Trump Organization nor the Trump campaign was a party to the transaction with Ms. Clifford, and neither reimbursed Mr. Cohen. So once again, Mr. Cohen, the star witness, unraveling the case. Good luck, Alvin Bragg.
Jason.
Yeah, well, the way, Kayleigh, the way you laid it out is exactly right. Congress does have a keen interest in what's going on there. Congress can pretty much investigate anything at any time, and to suggest that they can't do it because it's an ongoing investigation, hogwash. That's never slowed down Congress ever. There's zero precedence for that. So what Jim Jordan is saying is right. I do think the key are these two prosecutors who quit. And think about it, they quit and then they wrote a book, and they've essentially been campaigning on this. They've been promising that they were going to get Trump. It was all about Trump. The fact that he's running for president, that he's been successful, that his policies were working. They can't afford, as the progressive Democratic movement, to allow Donald Trump back into the political arena because he disrupts them. And that disruption is just totally counter to what they want to accomplish.
If I could say just one sentence, if a congressional committee can get my social security number and leak it to the American public and those of Kristi Noem's children, I'm pretty sure they can look into Alvin Bragg. Just one point.
Exactly.
I think the case is weak, but I think the timing is brilliant. And not just for the reasons you laid out. I think this is also about Joe Biden. I don't think it's a coincidence that just in the last week we've had these really damning and incriminating documents, financial documents, proving that the Biden family had received payments from a Chinese energy company spread across all their family members so as to avoid taxes and detection. And so you have Joe Biden, in the middle of all this circus, right? He's not getting asked any questions. He gets asked about it and he just says it's a lie. Well, it's not a lie. There are documents proving it. And so I look at this situation and I say, you know what? I really don't care that a former president, who, by the way, was pretty tough on China,
right.
Was getting payments from a porn star at this very dangerous time that we're on. China's ascendant. We are on the decline financially, reputationally, and we have a president in office right now who received payments from the Chinese government, who's compromised. This is what this is about. They want this circus because they're not having to answer the questions they need to be asked.
Mm-hmm. And Rachel, I couldn't agree with you more. You and I are so aligned. It's a pivotal time in U.S. history right now, whether you like Donald Trump or not. This is about the American people and our justice system. And in a free country, laws are universal and they're applied to citizens equally. Otherwise, they aren't laws at all. And if the Democratic regime can threaten their biggest political opponent this way, then our great republic as we know it is no longer. Then it becomes a banana republic. And some people will debate that, but I'm going to read the exact definition of a banana republic. It's when high government officials pressure other officials to carry out vendettas against political enemies and to defend their friends against harsh treatment, which is exactly to your point. It's exactly what's happening.
We are a banana republic.
Yes.
It's exactly what's happening. They're going after Donald Trump, and then Biden and the Clintons are protected. And I think this is just disheartening for the American people, and it's something that we definitely need to watch out for.
So Jason, let's unpack that a little bit. So we understand, we understand this case is so flimsy as you were pointing out. We understand that nothing has changed from Alvin Bragg's declination to continue investigating, let alone prosecuting in 2022. So what's changed? Donald Trump declared candidacy for president in 2024. So one could argue, other than thrusting Alvin Bragg himself into the spotlight, what else has changed? We know the answer to that. So what say you, and do you think there have been this pressure by the Democrat Party on DA Bragg? Hey, of all these 4 investigations, this is the one that we're going to start right now. This is the one that we're going to take to fruition? Well,
Bragg was funded by Soros, and that whole campaign. I also think that he has his own political agenda and that he wants to run for governor. And so what better way to run for governor in the state of New York by going after Donald Trump? And that's the concern here. The problem is the Democrats and these prosecutors, they go after Donald Trump for 7 years. And this is the weak case that they got after 7 years. But they never, ever look at Joe Biden and his family in taking millions of dollars. The two-tier system of justice, and the way Lady Justice is supposed to be blindfolded, but she keeps peeking under there and, oh, it's Trump. Yeah, we're going after that one. That's what drives Americans.
And by the way, the payments from this energy company, that's one. Representative Conner says they have 10 to 12 other companies that they've received millions for. So, I mean, this is really serious stuff.
Yeah, but they only go after...
Of course, because they're a banana republic.
So much more to unpack. Stay with us, guys. Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.